Raise your hand if you are fat and happy. Raise your hand if you lost yesterday. Yeah, let's get back on a winning streak. How's it going? My name is Bradley with Allaqcess Sports, bringing you a brand new episode of our sleepers, studs, and stacks. We're going to condense it all into one video, make it a little bit more simple for you to find. We're going to talk about some players under $5,500 that we really like on this slate. Talk about those high-end, upper echelon players that you need to fit into your lineup in order to succeed and finish in the green, as well as possibly put in a little lineup at the end, just based on the players we talk about in this video. If you can, go ahead and drop a like on this video, or if you want to wait to see if you actually enjoy it, wait until you find something that you enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe so you never miss a video, and I greatly appreciate your support. I appreciate you all continuing to come back because, as you know, our goal is just to beat those guys that are able to put in 150 lineups every single week. I don't operate on that kind of bankroll. I play Draftkings just to have a little bit of fun, give me a little bit more reason to watch all of these games. So I play mainly 50-50 double-ups, and I just like to double my winnings. That's exactly what I plan to do this weekend. So, of course, we have to start with under $5,500, and I don't know if there's a quarterback that I really love that's that low. Marcus Mariota does have rushing upside. Russell Wilson going up against a beaten-up defensive back situation in Carolina. Jacoby Brissett, his final I need to prove myself game. Stafford, out. Andy Dalton going up against San Francisco. No thanks. The only one that I would possibly even consider is probably the cheapest starting quarterback outside of Matt White, Davis Mills. Does that mean I'm going to play him? Absolutely not. From those high-priced guys, Patrick Mahomes, one that you're going to love every single week, but missing a ton of weapons. It looks like Kadarius Toney and Juju Smith-Schuster might be out, so pay attention to that Sunday morning injury news. And if you don't want to do your own research and you want something that's just in your inbox that has all of the injury news that kind of matters this weekend, sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/allaccess. That's down in the description below. We give you player news, headlines, the Vegas spreads, as well as our final player pool that we're going to be going after this weekend's slate with. Again, I appreciate all of you that support the channel. It's kind of going above and beyond just subscribing, so thank you very much. All right, let's get back to the quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, huge upside, but the quarterback that I really like the most in this price range, meaning those upper echelon players, would be probably between these two, maybe three if you want to include Kyler Murray, but Tua Tagovailoa going up against the Houston Texans, who, yes, the stats say they're the third best team against wide receivers, but that doesn't mean they're not still giving up a lot of yards and a lot of catches. Justin Herbert finally gets his weapons back. He's been okay. He's been decent. If you listen to some of the guys out there like Emmanuel Acho, he is saying he is a social media quarterback. He's had decent numbers, but does probably get his two best weapons back, maybe even three if Gerald Everett's healthy. But for now, give me Tua at $6,900. It is a little pricey. His wide receivers are very pricey, but we're going to pay attention to those really cheap guys to make our lineup work. So again, we start with the guys under $5,500 at the running back position for those sleepers or value plays, if that's what you prefer to call them. That's what we're doing, okay? Isaiah Pacheco, there's not a lot of weapons in Kansas City right now. Jerick McKinnon's going to be on the receiving end. Pacheco might get involved in the passing game. Travis Kelce, MVS. It looks like those are going to be the main four weapons with Mecole Hardman out, Kadarius Toney likely out, and Juju Smith-Schuster still not cleared out of concussion protocol. Another one that's kind of interesting is going to be Brian Robinson. I expected him to get used a lot more. A lot of people expected him to be used a lot more than he was last week with only 15 attempts. He was out-touched by Antonio Gibson, who is obviously the passing down back. But Brian Robinson, I expected him to get used a little bit more. Maybe it is this week at $5,100. If that's something you want to consider, go for it. Previously mentioned Jerick McKinnon at only $4,700. He's getting heavily involved in the passing game. CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it looks like he's kind of being phased out of this offense, so you're not getting a huge amount of rushing attempts. With Jerick, what you're looking for are these big games with the 8 targets, 3 targets. Yeah, that's not very much, but he's getting 11 to 10 points on his busiest of days. At $4,000, if I want to get 3 times his value, 4 times his value, I'm looking to get 10 to 15 points. That is possible here in this situation with limited weapons in a game that they should be ahead in. Maybe Jerick McKinnon gets some extra reps, and they kind of take it easy on Isaiah Pacheco. And last but not least, yes, he is just above that $5,500 threshold, but Samaje Perine, I do not expect him to replicate what he did last week with Joe Mixon and his concussion issues that he has going on. 30 points, I don't think that's sustainable. You probably don't think that's sustainable. 11 attempts for 30 yards, that's probably what you're going to get out of him. 4 targets, 4 receptions, 3 touchdowns. Listen, As a starter at $5,600, I like to get that into my lineups. You know, some people want to get 2 workhorse backs and scatter in some wide receivers. I like to play big wide receivers and scatter in some running backs. So P. Ryan might be on my radar. When you go through the top, sometimes it's not who you want to play, but who you're not going to play. Christian McCaffrey seems to still be splitting reps with Elijah Mitchell right now. That could change when there's a close game and they're not ahead by 13, 14, 18 points. But as of right now, I'm kind of laying off of him because that $8,800 price tag is really steep. Austin Eckler, those passing weapons are back. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett. That's going to do one of 2 things. It's either going to loosen up the box and allow Eckler more room to run or eat into his target share. Just saying. Derrick Henry, going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, leading rusher in the NFL, still getting a heavy dose of volume, 25, 26, 38, 19, absolutely worth a look. The Cincinnati Bengals have recently got some defensive line help with DJ Reader coming back. It's kind of plugged up some of those holes. Derrick Henry's probably still going to have a very good game because he almost always has a good game. Josh Jacobs is an interesting play because it feels like if I play him, we're going to get the 7 to 11 week. If I don't play him, y'all are going to get the 39 and 22 point weeks. I'm letting you know right now, I don't plan on playing him. So fully expect a 39-point week, just as we did for Thanksgiving Day when I said I don't plan on playing Justin Jefferson, so go ahead and play him because he's probably going to go for 16 catches and 160 yards. Kenneth Walker, I don't think anyone really got a touch as a running back for them last week. Yes, he only did have 10 attempts, but huge amounts of targets coming out of the backfield. It's kind of been around that 4-3 target, but huge. 8 targets last week. Absolutely love to see that out of a guy that's $6,900. There is massive touchdown upside. If we can follow the pattern and he goes low, high, low, high, low, say it with me, high. Yeah, I'm hoping this week's a high week for Kenneth Walker because I'm putting him into my lineup. Another guy that probably needs to be talked about is Jeff Wilson Jr. He has been absolutely fantastic since joining the Miami Dolphins. He just came off that bye week, probably going to get more in-depth into the playbook, probably going to get more involved. Has had some really decent games in terms of average yards per rush because people are so worried about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the outside. I fully expect Jeff Wilson Jr. to be in a lot of lineups at $5,900 against the bad Houston Texans team. He deserves a look. Wide receivers under $5,500. There's a handful of them that I really find interesting this week. Some of them all come from the same game. We're going to roll over to the Houston Texans game. Brandon Cooks at $5,200. Not bad. I feel like there's more value you can get at $5,200. Nico Collins, a handful of targets at $4,100 in his past few games. He's actually seen a really good amount of target share. 10, 7. He does have that 3 week on there. 6, 5. He's consistently involved. He is going to need to get you a touchdown at $4,100. But the other guy who's really interesting is going to be Chris Moore playing out of the slot, who also is getting 6, 7, 5, 4. He's, again, being involved in an offense. You're going up against the Miami Dolphins. I expect, and many of you expect, they're going to be chasing points. I expect more throws than handoffs to Dameon Pierce. Chris Moore, $3,800 is going to save you a ton of cash, and you only need him to get about 10 points, which he's done 3 of the last 4 weeks. Skowronek, probably someone that's on your radar along with Van Jefferson because Cooper Kupp is out. So then you have Allen Robinson, Van Jefferson, and Skowronek catching passes. Keep in mind his passes are either going to be coming from Bryce Perkins or John Walford, both of them, Stafford and Walford, both dealing with injuries. So we're not really sure at this moment who's going to be throwing these passes, but at $3,400, if you have faith in this offense who's going to be chasing points against the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe you want to put them into your lineup. And then I just want to talk about the Chiefs options because MVS is one of my favorite plays of the week. I'm probably not the only one talking about him because Kadarius Toney still dealing with that hamstring issue. Non-participant on Thursday, so it looks like he is not going to be suiting up. Things could change. Again, pay attention to those injury reports Saturday morning, Sunday morning. And then Juju Smith-Schuster, who has participated in all the practices, but he has not yet cleared concussion protocol, so he could be held out even if he feels like he's good to go. That's going to leave you MVS, Justin Watson, and possibly even Sky Moore to get involved. And again, I love a lot of the high-end wide receivers this week. Tyreek Hill, yeah. Davante Adams, yeah. DeAndre Hopkins, yeah. Waddle, Higgins. They're expensive for a reason. A couple of guys I find really interesting. Again, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle together. Pair him with my quarterback of Tua. I would love that. Tyreek Hill, probably too expensive. $1,500. Come down and get you Jalen Waddle or Mike Gesicki with that one. Christian Kirk going up against Baltimore, who is not very good against the pass. They had a very good game last week, but it was against my Carolina Panthers, who doesn't have a good defensive game against them. Double-digit targets in 2 of his last 5 games. He's eclipsed 100 yards once, came really close with the 96. 4 touchdowns in the last 5 games. Again, putting up a ton of points. Baltimore's ready to score. They score quickly. They're going to be taking chances down the field. Mark Andrews is healthy. That offense is clicking. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars with Christian Kirk probably going to exceed his value this week. T. Higgins, obviously, and Tyler Boyd. Both of those guys going up against Tennessee Titans, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Tennessee Titans in a very good spot for them. I think Tyler Boyd at $5,900 might be underpriced. But, of course, the weeks that I play him, he gets the 6 and the 9. The weeks that y'all play him, he's going to get the 32, the 12, the 23s. So, I'm letting you know, I'm considering playing him. Prepare for 7 points. Tight end, I told you, limited weapons there in Kansas City. Travis Kelce's going to be on the receiving end of the majority of throws against the LA Rams team that's giving up a ton of pass yards thus far in the season. I'd be interested to play him, save you $1,200, get Mark Andrews going up against Jacksonville. George Kittle, no thank you. Gerald Everett, possibly, depending on how healthy he's been. But there are a lot of mouths to feed with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen potentially being back. My favorite cheap tight end this week, again, a lot of these guys are under $5,500, so you only have 2 people. So we've already talked about them. We don't really need to get into it. Cole Kmet probably going to be popular just because he's been very good over the past few weeks. But I'm going to pivot off that and probably look at Evan Ingram if I'm trying to save at the tight end position. Again, going up against Baltimore, who has struggled over the middle, struggled against slot wide receivers at times. They were dealing with a few injuries. I think they've gotten healthy now. But he's getting a handful of targets. I don't want to see this 1.8, Evan. I want to see more like these 15s and these 10s, okay? Hayden Hurst, same thing out of you. We want those big games. We don't want these little piddly 1-point games, okay? Give me the 17s and the 11 if I play you. Maybe I just need to have a pep talk with some of these players beforehand. Like, does anyone have their number? Can I FaceTime them? Give them a quick shout out and say, hey, listen, I got you on the fantasy team this week. I need you to get it together. Come on, tighten up. Tighten them bootstraps, boys. Defenses are always a crapshoot. I'm always looking for opportunities to get interceptions, to generate sacks, generate pressure. The one that I'm most interested in, I think, is going to be a very popular play would be the Kansas City Chiefs, $2,800 going up against a backup quarterback without Cooper Kupp and a running game that is abysmal. Kansas City puts up points, force the Rams to throw, big opportunities for interceptions, big opportunities to get more sacks against an offensive line that is absolutely terrible. You're going to have a hard time trying to convince me to play any other defense besides the Chiefs this week. I appreciate y'all watching that, so we're going to go ahead and try and put this lineup together just with some of the names that we've mentioned, or throw some studs in there if we can afford it. Obviously, I want to get a wide receiver to pair with Tua, and I don't think Tyreek Hill is going to fit at all, because if we took him, that puts us at 3, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Bad numbers. No way we can make that happen with the rest of our lineup to shape out. So for now, we'll go with Jalen Waddle, but keep in mind, I really like Christian Kirk. Unfortunately, that just doesn't pair him with my quarterback. So Jalen Waddle, give me him. That leaves you $4,100 remaining with the rest of your team. Obviously, if you do want to go with Christian Kirk and you want to take Trevor Lawrence, who isn't a bad play, $4,900 is what you have remaining. That can get you a $4,000 wide receiver. Throw in that really cheap Chiefs defense, and you're going to be in decent shape. But again, I like Tua coming off that bye. I think they're going to have something really special for the Texans this week. So for my last wide receiver position, to save money, we'll go with Skoranek. And again, if we have $6,300 to play with, here's our options. Mike Williams with that banged up ankle that he's had all year. Same game. Keenan Allen, who this game could get squirrely with the Arizona Cardinals. There's potential for anything to happen when they're playing. Dameon Pierce, don't love. Tyler Lockett, interesting. A wide receiver with a big ceiling. Chris Godwin, probably a high passing offense against the Cleveland Browns. Cordero Patterson, don't really love. Jeff Wilson Jr., a running back that we talked about against the Houston Texans. Again, I don't love stacking a quarterback with the running back in the same game. It just usually doesn't work out that way, but sometimes it will. Tyler Boyd, if Jamar Chase is out, definitely an interesting play. And again, if you want to save some cash, here's some of the guys that are still in the realm of possibility. Maybe you want to go up and get Mark Andrews, because I think Andrews and Travis Kelce could have 2 of the highest scoring games on the entire slate. If you made it this far in the video, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for dropping a like on this one. Drop a comment below because don't forget, we are always giving you a chance to win a $20 Millionaire Maker ticket. Who is going to be the highest scoring player on this Sunday's slate? Give me their whole number. If you think it's going to be Travis Kelce, who's going to put up 32.8 points, and Travis Kelce puts up 32 as the highest scoring player on the slate, one person who correctly guessed that will get a $20 prize to use for your free Millionaire Makers ticket. If that was too confusing, just read it down below and follow my example. Best of luck to you week 12. Hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving. Hopefully you're not still eating leftovers, but if you are, warm me up a plate too. Extra gravy. I appreciate you watching this video. I'll see you next week. Good luck, and I don't know, go out and win a lot of money.